Every story's got a spark, and every spark's got a name. This is the journey of finding mine. Who am I when the lights go low? Who am I when the world says no? Searching through my past, trying to free my soul. One truth at a time, letting every story unfold. Who am I?
Yeah, I'm more than the pain,
Who am I?
more than the pride. Who am I?
Who am I?
Walking in purpose, no mask, no disguise. This is my voice, my rise, my life. Welcome to Who Am I?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Who Am I podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Jeff Hopgood. Before we begin today's episode, I want to just take a moment and pause and check in with you. Not just checking in because it sounds good to say. Not just checking in because it's part of the format. But truly checking in because you matter. So wherever you are right now, driving, sitting at home, at work, lying in bed, or just trying to make it through another moment, I want to ask you something honestly. How are you doing today? How is life treating you? And I don't mean the version of you that answers I'm good because that's what people expect. I mean the version of you that no one sees, the one that's tired, the one that's holding it together for everyone else, the one that's been carrying more than they've been saying. If today is a good day for you, if your spirit feels light, if your heart feels steady, I'm grateful with you. Truly, hold on to that. But if today feels heavy, if you woke up already exhausted, if you're smiling on the outside but quietly fighting on the inside, I want you to know you are not alone in that space. I need you to hear that. And I say that because recently I received a personal message from a listener that stopped me in my tracks. And I want to share this with you, not for attention, not for emotion, but because it reminded me why this space matters. This listener told me they were just about to give up on life. Man, they said they were at the edge emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And in that moment, they heard this podcast. They said something that hit me so deep to the point where a tear had flowed from my eyes. They said it lifted my burden. Not that it fixed everything, not that all the pain disappeared, but it lifted the weight just enough for them to breathe again. And I want to be honest with you. I really do. When I read that message, I had to stop. I sat with it, prayed, I reflected. Because in that moment, it became very clear to me that what we're doing here in this space, it has purpose. See, for me, this isn't just content. This isn't just a voice in your headphones. This isn't just another podcast in a long list of things competing for your attention. This is a shared space, a safe space, a place where people can feel seen, heard, and reminded that their life still has value, even when it doesn't feel like it. And I don't take that lightly, not even for a second. See, if you are listening right now and you're in a dark place, if you felt like giving up, if you wondered whether anyone would even notice if you disappeared, I want you to know this: your life matters more than you realize. You matter. And I'm grateful, truly, truly grateful that you allow me to sit with you in these moments, that you trust me enough with your time, your heart, and sometimes your pain. See, I appreciate you for showing up even when it's hard. I appreciate you for listening even when you don't feel like you have the strength to do much else. and I appreciate the courage it takes just to stay. So let me say this clearly, because someone needs to hear it today. I'm here for you. Not just on the good days, not just when things are going well, but in the messy, uncertain, heavy moments too. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to carry everything by yourself. This space is for you. And as we move forward today, I want you to lean in, not with pressure, not with expectation, but with honesty. Bring your questions, bring your doubt, bring your tired heart, because today's conversation is one I believe speaks directly to where so many of us are right now. Today's episode is called Purpose versus Pressure. We're going to talk about the differences between what's pulling on you and what's truly calling you. See, the difference between what demands everything from you and what actually gives life back to you. So take another breath with me. Set down the weight just for a moment, and let's step into this conversation together. Let's go ahead and dive into purpose versus pressure. So I want to say this right up front. This isn't about hustle. It's not about ambition. And it's not about whether you're doing well in life. This is about alignment. It's about the quiet space between who you are and who you feel you're expected to be. So before we go any further, I want you to sit with this. Don't rush past it. Don't try to answer it perfectly. Just let it settle. Ask yourself, am I chasing my true purpose, or am I just carrying other people's pressure? And here's another one. When was the last time you felt peace about the direction you're heading in? Not relief, not distraction, but peace. Are you moving because you're called, or because you're afraid to stop? Because here's the truth. Most of us don't wake up one day and decide to abandon purpose. We drift. We don't quit purpose dramatically. We don't make an announcement. We slowly replace it with responsibility, with expectations, with survival. We start doing what's practical instead of what's personal, what's acceptable instead of what's authentic. And before we know it, we're living lives that look successful on the outside, but we're feeling suffocated on the inside. Let me say it like this. We're being busy, but not fulfilled. We're feeling accomplished, but not aligned. And we're feeling needed by everyone, but disconnected from ourselves. And the hardest part is pressure doesn't show up looking dangerous. It shows up looking responsible. It sounds like maturity, and it feels like doing the right thing, which makes it hard to tell what's purpose and what's actually pressure. So let me define the tension between purpose and pressure. And that's where I want to slow us down today, because purpose and pressure can feel almost identical at first. They both require effort. They both demand commitment. They both ask something of you, but they don't come from the same place, and they don't lead you to the same destination. So let's talk about the difference. Let's define the tension between purpose and pressure. So as I mentioned before, purpose and pressure feel similar at first. And that's why so many of us confuse them. Both require effort. Both demands commitment. Both can keep your calendar full and your phone buzzing. Both will ask something from you. But here's the difference. Only one gives you peace. See, pressure pushes you. Purpose pulls you. Pressure shoves you from behind with fear in its hand. Purpose stands ahead of you, inviting you forward. See, pressure says, hurry up, don't fall behind. Everybody else is moving. Why aren't you? You can't rest yet. Purpose says, be still. This is your lane. You don't have to run someone else's race. See, pressure is loud. It's impatient. It compares your timeline to everyone else's highlights reel. But see, purpose is quieter. It doesn't rush you, but it won't let you stay comfortable forever either. See, pressure comes with anxiety, with tight shoulders, with a mind that never shuts off. But see, purpose comes with clarity. Even when it's hard, even when it stretches you, even when it costs you something. See, pressure drains you at the end of the day. Purpose may tire your body, but it feeds your soul. Think about it. See, pressure asks, how will this look? But purpose asks, is this true? See, pressure keeps you busy, constantly moving, filling in space. We call those gap fillers. Just have to have your hand and your mind doing something. So pressure will always keep you busy, but purpose will keep you aligned. And here's how you can tell the difference. Pressure leaves you feeling scattered all over the place, but purpose leaves you feeling centered. Pressure makes you feel like you're never enough, but purpose reminds you that you're already becoming. So if what you're chasing constantly steals your peace, if it feels heavy but hollow, if success still feels empty, it might not be purpose at all. It might just be pressure wearing purpose's clothes. So if you're listening right now and thinking, that sounds like me, you're not alone. Because this isn't just a concept. It's not just a theory. It's something that I've lived. See, purpose versus pressure doesn't show up on a spreadsheet. It shows up in real moments, real choices, and real exhaustion. And before I knew how to name the difference, before I had the language for it, before I had an understanding of what it really was, I lived in that tension myself. Let me take you back to a season of my life when I was doing everything right on paper. Well, at least I thought I was doing everything right. But nothing felt right in my spirit. This is where it got personal for me. Allow me to share a personal story about myself, about what I had to deal with. And see, I remember a season where everything in my life was moving, but nothing in me felt aligned. From the outside, it looked like progress. My calendar was always full. Responsibilities were handled. People were proud of me. I was checking boxes, doing what made sense, living what people called a good path. But inside, I felt disconnected, like I was preset everywhere except within myself. Every day felt like I was wearing shoes that didn't fit, not painful enough to stop walking, not obvious enough for anyone else to notice, but uncomfortable enough to remind me with every step that something was off. I wasn't unhappy. I wasn't failing. I wasn't even falling apart. I was just empty. And that emptiness messed with me because I was doing everything right. Well, at least I thought. I was being dependable. I was being responsible. I was being strong. I was showing up for everyone else. But the thing is, I wasn't being honest with myself. I didn't know how to say it out loud, but deep down I knew I was carrying weight that never belonged to me. Expectations I never signed up for. Dreams that weren't mine, but somehow became my responsibilities to fulfill. And the scary part is, I had got really good at surviving in that space. I smiled when I was supposed to. I encouraged others while quietly running on empty. I told myself, this is just what adulthood feels like. But late at night, when it was quiet, when there was no one to impress, no role to play, that mirror didn't lie to me. It kept asking me a question I didn't want to answer, and I avoided answering that question. Who are you when no one is telling you who to be? Think about that for a second. Man, that still messes me up to this day. Who are you when no one is telling you who to be? And that's when I realized, and it wasn't instant, it took me some time to realize it. I wasn't lost. I was just living someone else's version of alignment. And the moment I admitted that, that's when the real work began. So before we move forward, I want to pause right here and just reflect. What expectation am I carrying that I never agreed to? Ask yourself that. What expectation am I carrying that I never agreed to? Who am I trying not to disappoint? Ask yourself, when was the last time I said yes while something in me was quietly saying no? Ask yourself, if no one needed anything from me for a moment, what would I choose? No judgment, no answers required, just honesty. Let's dig into the weight of pressure. So some of us are tired, not because life is heavy, but because we're carrying weights we were never meant to lift. Some of us are carrying family pressure, career timelines, cultural definitions of success, the fear of letting people down. And here's the hardest part. Most of the pressure didn't come from enemies. It came from people who love us. And that makes it harder to say no, because it feels like saying no to them instead of to the pressure, which causes us to become people pleasers. Whenever you become a people pleaser, what comes along with that, or a tag team partner, is silent pressures. So people pleasing doesn't always look weak. Sometimes it looks like leadership. Sometimes it looks like sacrifice. Sometimes it looks like being the strong one, the reliable one, the one everyone counts on. It looks like being the fixer, the peacemaker, the one who never complains. But underneath all of that strength lies fear. Fear of disappointing people you care about. Fear of being misunderstood if you speak your truth. Fear of losing approval if you choose yourself. So we say yes when we mean no. We smile while we're stretched thin. We stay quiet when our voice is shaking inside. We keep moving even when our spirit is asking us to pause. And over time, we don't even realize what's happening. We start measuring our worth by how useful we are. We start equating love with obligations. We start believing that rest is selfish and boundaries are rude. And slowly, quietly, pressure starts wearing purpose's name. We tell ourselves, this must be my calling, when really it's just expectation. We convince ourselves, this is what I'm supposed to do, when really it's what we're afraid to stop doing. And eventually, we wake up exhausted, not because we're walking in purpose, but because we've been carrying pressure for so long, we forgot what purpose feels like. See, purpose brings weight. but it also brings a peace with it. Pressure brings weight and then asks you to carry it alone. Can I say that again? Because that just made me happy. Purpose brings weight, but it also brings with it peace. Pressure brings weight, and then it asks you to carry it alone. And that difference matters. So just allow me to slow this down just for a moment and ask you, just you right now, are you building a life that excites your spirit or one that simply avoids conflict? When you make decisions, are you asking, is this aligned or will this upset anyone? If nobody's expected anything from you tomorrow, no pressure, no judgment, no explanation required, what would you feel free to pursue? Think about it. When purpose meets pressure, here's where faith begins to enter the conversation. Because purpose isn't just about passion, it's about obedience. And obedience doesn't negotiate with comfort. See, purpose rarely comes with applause. Calling doesn't always come with confirmation, and obedience almost never comes with full understanding. See, God will often give you the assignment without giving you the details. He'll say, go, before he explains how. He'll say, trust me, before he shows you why. And that's where faith gets real, because faith doesn't mean you feel confident. It means you move even when you don't. See, pressure, on the other hand, is loud. It needs validation. It needs urgency. It needs everyone to agree before you take a step. See, purpose doesn't beg for approval. Purpose answers a call. Pressure feels urgent. Purpose feels anchored. Pressure says, do it now or you'll miss your chance. Purpose says, stand still. This step matters. See, pressure rushes you. Purpose steadies you. See, pressure creates panic while purpose creates posture. And let me say this clearly. Just because something is hard doesn't mean it's pressure. And just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's purpose. See, when you're walking in purpose, you may still be tired, but you're not empty. You might be stretched, but you're sustained. You might be challenged, but you're covered. See, there's the difference between exhaustion and depletion. Purpose can exhaust the body because calling costs something, but pressure depletes the soul because it pulls you away from who you were created to be. See, pressure drains you even when you rest, but purpose refuels you even while you work. Pressure leaves you asking, how much more do I have to give? But purpose reminds you, you were never giving alone. And here's the faith piece we don't talk about enough. God will never pressure you the way people do. God convicts, people coerce. God leads, pressure drives. God brings peace that doesn't make sense, but pressure brings anxiety that won't shut up. So if what you're doing is producing fear instead of faith, panic instead of peace, burnout instead of boldness, you need to ask yourself, is this obedience or is this expectation? Because purpose may stretch you, but it will never hollow you. And pressure may look productive, but it will slowly pull you away from God, from yourself, and from the very calling you're trying to protect. So here's the hard truth. Let me say this plainly. You cannot live your purpose while auditioning for everyone's approval. Someone will always disagree with you. Someone will always question your timing, and someone will always expect more. But purpose doesn't ask if everyone agree. Purpose asks, can you live with yourself if you don't obey the call? Let me simplify this even more. It means this, plain and honest. Purpose and people pleasing don't coexist. Let me say it again. You can't fully walk in what you were created to do if you're constantly checking the room for applause. Purpose and people pleasing, they cannot coexist. No matter what you do, someone will always misunderstand you. Someone will think you move too fast or too slow. Someone will always want more from you. If you wait for a universal applause, you'll never move. Purpose isn't democratic. It doesn't take a vote. It doesn't explain itself to everyone. Instead of asking, will they like this? Purpose asks a deeper question. Can you live with regret of ignoring what you know you're called to do? So here's the heart of today's message. Pressure will ask, will they accept me? Purpose will ask, will I be faithful? See, pressure expires, but purpose will always remain. Pressure fades when people change their mind, but purpose stays even when the seasons shift. And the life you're meant to live will never require you to betray yourself to belong. So if this episode stirs something in you, don't ignore it. Sit with it. Journal it. Pray through it. Be honest about what you're carrying and why. Because you don't owe the world's exhaustion. You don't owe people your silence. And you don't owe pressure your obedience. You owe yourself alignment. And alignment begins with answering one question truthfully. Who am I living for? So before we move forward, I want you to pause for just a moment. Take a breath. Wherever you are, whatever you're carrying, this next part is for you. Let's speak life over ourselves out loud if you can. Because what we say in this moment has the power to shift how we walk into the rest of our day. Let's begin with our affirmation. I am not defined by my past or limited by my mistakes. I am growing, learning, and becoming who I was created to be. I have value beyond titles, roles, and expectation. I choose honesty over fear and growth over comfort. I am allowed to change, heal, and evolve. I walk with purpose, clarity, and courage. I am becoming more aligned with my true self every day. And who I am is enough. So as we close today's episode, I want to thank you for taking this time for yourself. If something you heard inspired you, challenged you, or made you pause and reflect, please don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who may need it. Invite them into the conversation. See, this podcast grows when we grow together. I cannot do this without you. I cannot do this without you. And it's through shared stories, honest reflections, and real connections. See, every listen, every share, every conversation helps us create a community rooted in purpose, rooted in hope, rooted in faith, love, and truth. Until next time, keep reflecting, keep becoming, and remember, you matter. This is the Who Am I podcast. Let's walk this journey together.
Who am I? Yeah, I'm more than the pain, more than the pride. Who am I? Who am I? Walking in purpose, no mask, no disguise. This is my voice, my rise, my life. Welcome to Who Am I?